Recording.
Oh, yeah.
Hey internet, this is June Watts here, doing a deck profile for Arc of Fusion's channel. So I'm gonna get started here right in a second. This is a Fire Fist for Next format. As you can see, there's a cat in the way. Move that out of the way. Alright. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe on my channel too. I'm sure he'll put a link on there somewhere down in the subscription. Bring lots of good deck profiles. Dueling Network Idiots of the Week is one of my big things people seem to like. Let's start with the Fire Fist deck profile. 3 bears, pretty staple. Dropped the gorilla down to 1 just because now it's a 3.5 axes. So found 2 is a little bit too much. We'll see. That one enough wolf bark. So that's pretty good. And this one cat. One of cat. 2 dragon. I still like the dragon engine in this one. It does make a lot more, puts a lot more fire formations on board, so it makes dragon a lot more live. I kind of like that aspect. And obviously the main 3.5 axes engine, so 3 leopards, which is pretty staple. This card adds so much consistency to the deck, just to be able to go off with it and search a tanky and grab a spirit or whatever. Rooster, now that I forgot how fun this card was, because I haven't tested with this till before this format. Oh, this card's so powerful and so gross in so many different ways. Opens up so many plays. The 1 spirit, really good. 2 car. I was testing it. I like the car in this version a little better than I do in the 4 axes. I was testing it with and without it. I kind of like it a little more. Just going that plus is kind of nice. Plus I run 2 Tensus in this version, so it's a little easier. I was playing against Girgia today. A Tensu summon, bear, pop their thing, and then okay, summon car and a set stuff, end turn. It's pretty broke. 2 Valor, pretty stable right now. This format right now, it's not crazy different from last format, other than we got to take into consideration Girgia. So because they're probably going to be a lot more dominant and predominant deck around, because they're the only one that didn't really get hit on the ban list at all. So right now until Primal comes out, it's pretty the same. 3 Tenki, don't need to talk about that. 2 Tensu, I like Tensu with the Rooster aspect that you can Tensu summon Rooster and then grab a Tenki and then Tenki summon something else. 2 Goyoku, it's sick when you do the tributing Leopard and then Tensu summon Rooster. Yeah, and this opens up letting you Tensu summon Rooster or the Spirit more easily. And you do that whole like little loop with Rooster. You can turn that Tenki that's left over or whatever is left over, because you recycle the Tenki, so you can activate it. If it resolves, you use Rooster's effect to send the Tenki to the graveyard and set one of these, and then you essentially just lock up one of your opponent's back row. So I like 2 of it because now that you have Rooster to search it out more, it's so much more broken to be able to just search it out like that after your little loop in the next turn and lock one of your back rows. Triple MST, that's still pretty staple. Bumped it down to double Lance. If I were to cut the cards, I'd probably put in a 3rd Lance and a third Fiendish Chain. 1 Buck, staple. 1 Rekindling. This card's amazing. I had a game today, my spirit got warninged, and I had this in hand. I was like, sweet, grab that leopard, grab that thing back, and just do my little loop, and it allowed me to go off and win. I had another game where I had 2 leopards in graveyard in the spirit, and I was able to rip this thing. I searched a Tenki to grab wolf bark off of the leopard, so that was pretty sick. Still running dragon, so I still run 2 Tensu. Pretty good card still. Like I said with Rooster too, if you know they're running like a good deck that's gonna try to run over your shit, you can just send something off and set the Tensu, and then that way you know your opponent's gonna like, oh shit, if I attack into that Rooster, I know he's gonna boost it by 1,000. So it just leaves more plays with the Rooster. It's pretty good. And plus keeping Rooster on board is such a powerful play. 2 Fiendish Chain, dropped it down because I threw in the cars. Still really good. 2 Mirror Force, wouldn't cut these, they're so good right now still. 1 Pulse, 1 Warning, 1 Bottomless. So it's pretty similar. One thing I don't like about the 3.5 axes is it's a lot more consistent but I feel like it's less deadly and it doesn't bring as much as a punch as the straight 4-axis. But now that we're losing Wolf Bark, it's kind of a thing we have to suffer. But it takes up so much room with its engine, because it does run, you know, the Spirit, these 6 cards of an engine, so it's a little bit extra monsters in the 4-axis, and it just leaves less room for traps. Let's go in the extra deck. 1 Cowboy, 1 101, 1 Excitation, Diamond Dire, Dweller, still Bujin Tai, Cage Suchi. Had to cut the Cardinal down to 1 just because it's gotta cut something, and like I said, I wasn't going into it a lot. I went in it once at the Seattle Regionals. I went into both, but it's more live in this deck with it, but you can go in other stuff, so I just left the 1. 2 Tiger Kings. Now that's 3.5 axes. Don't really need to run 3 of them, so still, I don't think I've ever actually needed to make more than 2 now running 3.5 axes. 2 Lion Emperors. You could get away with 1 and throwing in something else, but it's just kind of nice to have this guy because he can add like a fire monster back to your hand. So he can add Wolf Bark, right? So it's a nice way to recycle the Wolf Bark. 2 Horse Prince, because it's sometimes you get in a situation where you do make this in the loop and then you add a Spirit back, and then just going into that second Horse Prince. I've seen some decks run M7 just in case. I found that it's most unlikely to go into 2 and have them both on board, so I decided not to run M7 because this is 4,400 damage here, and if you're able to keep this up, you're most likely going to kill them pretty quick, so decided to leave M7 out. And then for the other 2 generics, now it feels nice to have these guys. As you can see, I cut Boar. Now it's not 4 axes, Boar's not as live, but got Vulcan. Pretty gross card. If you have like a stale tanky just sitting there, you can go into it and bounce it back, so he's pretty good. And because you run all 3s and the 4s. Black Rose, just in case. I could put Boar back in because he can also make this with a leopard. So this is just pretty good to make this with Spirit and any level 4, just in case you really have to clear the board. So I threw it in. So that's my Fire Fist 3.5 axes deck profile. I don't have a side deck yet, obviously, because it's going to be based off my locals or wherever I go. If I go to a bigger event, obviously it's going to be a little different, but we'll just see. It'll be obviously structured towards Kirgia. But that's my deck. Hope you like it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And thanks, Art, for putting me on your channel. Peace.